Okay, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Please switch on your video. Ashish, please switch on the video. Did you learn structure of intellect? Yes. So take a sheet of paper. Okay. I want you to write whatever you remember about that theory. Structure of intellect. Just write in an orderly manner whatever you remember about that theory. Okay. Starting from the name, who proposed it, what are its contents, what all comes under the subdivisions of it, everything. For those who joined late, please take a sheet of paper, rough book or something, and please write the theory regarding structure of intellect or the structure of intellect model. Whatever you remember about it, just write it down. When you complete writing, please let me know, okay? When you're writing the proponent's name, please write the full name, not like yesterday. This is kind of directed free association, right? Do you feel so? Yeah, Rena and Sana, please take your rough book or a sheet of paper and write about the structure of intellect model, which I asked you to learn yesterday. Completed? Amal, have you completed? Please write fast. Done. Okay. Rena, Sana, Grishma, and Mehak, have you all completed writing? Network issue. Okay, do one thing. After the class, you can take a picture of it and send it to me. Okay. All right. Now, were you able to memorize all the points that you learned? No. Okay. Did you get the proponent's name? Yes. Who is it?
JP Guilford.
JP Guilford. And what is the spelling of Guilford?
GUILFORD.
Yes, JP Guilford. And structure of intellect model. Then how many concepts are he talking about?
3.
Yes, three concepts. Which are they? Diana?
Content, product,
Hmm.
and operations.
Operations, yes. And how many cells are there in the model total?
180.
180 cells are there in total. Now, the symbolic or the semantic meanings, all these things comes under which category? Is it contents, is it operations or products?
Contents.
Contents. Similarly, for products and operations, we have subdivisions. You have to learn all that. Okay. If an application level question comes, suppose when we refer to this products, let it be products. Under that, what all comes? Units, classes, relations, systems, transformations, and implications comes. Okay. So if we are talking, if a question comes regarding a class or a category of things, and question comes which concept in the structure of intellect model is this referring to? It'll be very confusing, isn't it? Because you have to know each and every option. That's why I told you learn the theory first, then only you can apply. All right. So if you're not getting it again, please relearn it. Not relearn, revise it. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next portion, today's portion. That is now, before that, which theory do you want to learn tomorrow? Hmm, multiple intelligence? Yes? Okay, not tomorrow. For the next class, learn this and come. Theory of multiple intelligence. Yes. You're getting 2 days, no? So we'll learn two-factor theory, level 1, level 2, and multiple intelligence. Okay, pretty easy theories, no problem. Okay, so 3 theories: two-factor theory by Spearman, then Arthur Jensen's theory, and also Howard Gardner's theory. Learn 3 theories and come. All right. So we move on to the next topic, that is types of groups. Sorry. Types of groups. And groups are divided in different manner. Like when we learned about observation method, remember we learned about naturalistic observation, laboratory observation. We learned about another type, that is participant versus non-participant observation, isn't it? Last year. Similarly, in types of groups also there are different types and different kinds of these groups. Based on different concepts or based on different terms, it is divided into 2 categories, this versus that. So it can be based on the number of members. It can be large groups versus small groups. Like yesterday, we talked about an example where only 3 best friends form a group, isn't it? That is a very small group compared to a political party. It has a large number of members, isn't it? So that is small group. It can be a large group. Then, based on the term or tenure of the group, that is it short-lived or is it long-lasting? Based on that, we can divide the groups. Or maybe religious group, based on the purpose of any particular group. Based on that also, we can divide the groups. Then what else? Yeah, based on the organization, that is it highly organized or is it least organized? Are the things happening in a very systematic manner or not? That is also one criteria which we can use to consider the different types of groups. But here we are going to study about 3 main categories, isn't it? Yeah, 3 main categories. One is primary and secondary groups. Second one is formal, informal groups. Third one is in-group versus out-group. Okay, you can write the heading. Primary versus secondary. Formal, informal. Formal versus informal. Third one, in-group, out-group. I think in-group, out-group I've already explained in the class, isn't it? You remember? I think, yes, when we learned stereotypes, discrimination, prejudice and all, in-group members and out-group members, there'll be a discrimination towards out-group members, especially when it comes to minority and majority. Okay, have you heard of any of these groups before? There are 6 terms given here. Have you heard of any of these before? Yes?
Formal, informal.
Formal and informal we have heard. Okay. That's all? Okay. So take page number 135. That's the portion. So group differs in many respects. Some have a large number of members, some are small, some are short-lived, and some remain together for many years. And some are highly organized and others are informally organized. People may belong to different types of group and major types of groups are enumerated below. Those are written on the board. Okay, we'll start with primary and secondary. This is based on whether we have a choice of joining that group or not. Like when you're born into a family, it's not by your choice, isn't it? And the family follows a religion, it follows a culture, It has certain traditions and values in the family background. Yes or no? Yes. Again, that is not your choice. You automatically belonged to that particular group. Now, when you are following, mm, or when you're joining a particular club, nature club, dance club, or when you are joining an NGO, non government organization, or you're maybe joining a group for community works, for doing something good, then that is by your choice, or maybe a political party. You're joining by your choice, isn't it? So that will become secondary. When you're joining by your own choice, your own will, that will become secondary. It will become a secondary group. Now, when you are born into that, or when you don't have a free will to choose the membership in a group, then that is primary. Did you understand the difference? Okay. So we'll see the examples. A major difference between primary and secondary group is that primary groups are pre-existing formations which are usually given to the individuals, whereas secondary groups are those which the individuals joins by choice. So primary is already given to the individual. Secondary is the one in which the individual chooses to join. They have a choice there. Please underline that first sentence. Okay, that's family, caste, and religion. Do they belong to primary or secondary? Family, caste, and religion. Religious groups. Families.
Primary.
Primary. They belong to primary groups. Okay. Then, my political party, as I told you, it is a secondary group. In a primary group, there is a face to face interaction. Members have close physical proximity and they share warm emotional bonds, as in our families. Okay. They have high proximity. They share things with each other, especially they share emotional bonds with each other. They have an attachment towards each other. That is also an important factor in primary groups. Then, primary groups are central to individuals' functioning and have a major role in developing values and ideals of the individual during the early stages of development. That also is self understood. Because when a child is born into a family, then that means the value systems, the standards, the ideals, the belief systems, everything is influenced by the members of the family. Because the child is a part of that family group, the child learns a lot of things, isn't it? In human development itself, we have learned a lot about this. Okay. Then, so that is why it is said that these primary groups are very much central to the individual or the person. Suppose if in especially in written exams, such a question will come. The statement will be given. Primary groups are central to the individual's functioning and have a very major role in developing values and ideas of the individual during early stages of development. Elaborate. That will be the question. Or explain. So you have to read the textbook and then only you'll understand from where this is coming. Okay, from which chapter it is, from which section of the chapter it is, from which topic is it, and what all should you write according to the question. Right. Then what else? In contrast, secondary groups are those where relationships among members are impersonal, indirect, and less frequent. Underline that. Impersonal, indirect, and less frequent. Again, if you're a part of a nature club, do you meet the members of the nature club on a daily basis? No, isn't it? And it's not necessary that you have a strong emotional bond with the members of that club, isn't it? Again, in a political party, it's not necessary that you have a very close contact with the members of that political party. You might not even know some of the members. Yes, that happens. But that's not the case with the family and the other primary groups. Okay. Then, in the primary group, boundaries are less permeable. Have you heard the term permeability? Where have you heard permeability? In biology, have you learned permeability? Cytoplasm's permeability or something? No. Okay. I share the word. If this is a wall, then if something can, not a wall, just consider this is some material, and if this is allowing things to pass through it, then that means that is permeable enough. If it is stopping something from going to the other side, then that means it is not permeable. Understood? Yes or no? Okay, now read that sentence once more. In primary group, boundaries are less permeable. Boundaries are less permeable means, like, we are talking about primary group. So let's take an example of a family. Family, maybe your family. Okay. Now, here all the members of the family are present. But can somebody easily, I mean, any outsider or any stranger easily come and get into your family? No, isn't it? Similarly, it is not very easy for you to get out of the family too. Just disregard the family as such and then forget everything about the family and then live on your own. It's not very easy, isn't it? There are people who do it because of the circumstances, but it's not very easy. Yes, that is why it is said in primary groups, what happens? The boundaries are not permeable or they are less permeable. Okay, and what is given in the rest? That is, members do not have the option to choose its membership as compared to secondary groups where it is easy to leave and join another group. In secondary groups, permeability is more. That is, if you belong to a political party, the next day you can belong to another political party. It's very easy. Okay. Remember, I told you about one of my friends at college. During strikes, he used to wave the flags. Yeah, that is very, very much permeable, isn't it? One day you can be this, even in the morning you can be belonging to a political party, in the evening you can be a part of another political party. It's very easy for them. Okay, so that is the difference between primary as well as secondary groups. Again, remember, it is this distinction is made with how much choice or free will we have in belonging to that group or not, to join that group or not. Okay. So that is primary and secondary groups. Now, second one, formal and informal. That's very common, isn't it? If the group is formed for a particular formal purpose, then that is formal group, and there will be typical rules and regulations and norms and everything designed for that particular group. And the purpose, the goals, everything will be much more deliberate, I think, explicitly stated than the informal groups. Informal groups, again, it's very much informal. Things happen in a very informal manner. No such strict rules or regulations happen in that group. That's a major difference. We all have heard about it, and we all have been part of that type of groups also, isn't it? Our friend circles, they are a part of which group? Informal groups. And the committees that we form when we have function at school, that is a formal group. Okay, so let's see. Can you read, Meghna?
These groups differ in the degree to which the functions of the group are stated explicitly and formally.
Underline that. Okay.
The functions of a formal group are explicitly stated, as in the case of an office organization. The roles to be performed by group members are stated in an explicit manner. The formal and informal groups differ on the basis of structure. The formation of formal groups is based on some specific rules or laws, and members have definite roles. There are a set of norms which help in establishing order. A university is an example of a formal group. On the other hand, the formation of informal groups is not based on rules or laws, and there is close relationship among members.
Okay. So let me ask you another question. In which group will be the cohesiveness more among the members? Is it formal or informal?
Informal.
Informal, most probably informal, isn't it? And the status difference will be more different in formal groups, because there might be a person who assigns the duties, and there will be other members who should do their responsibilities, do their own tasks, isn't it? So usually in informal, it's a very everything happens in a very shared manner. Even the feelings and emotions are shared. So the tasks and responsibilities are also shared. Hmm? Yeah, but in formal groups, everything is very explicitly stated: the rules, the regulations, the norms that has to be followed, the tasks, responsibilities, everything is very much formal there. Okay, that's the difference between formal and informal. Now, third type is in group and out group. In group is generally our group, the group that we belong to. If I'm speaking, then my in group. Suppose if we are two groups, I belong to the teachers group, you belong to the students group. Okay, now my in group is the teachers group, and out group is the students group. But when you're thinking from your perspective, your in group is the students group, and the out group is the teachers group. Understood? Is that a clear example? Yes. Okay. So just as individuals compare themselves with others in terms of similarities and differences with respect to what they have and what others have, individuals also compare the group they belong to with groups of which they are not a member. There is, there are people, even we compare ourselves with others. At certain point of time, we might have done that, isn't it? Yes. And just like that, we compare our groups with the other groups. Now, when we do that, the group that we belong to, that is the in group, the we. And the group that we are referring to, that is the out group, that is they. Usually we say that in group is defined by we and out group is defined by they. That is the difference. I think it's given here. Yes, the term in group refers to one's own group and out group refers to another group. Underline that. Now, for in group members, we use the word we, while for out group members, the word they is used. By using the words they and we, one is categorizing people as similar or different. So members of in group will be similar to each other. Members of out group will be similar to themselves. Okay, but members of in group and out group will be different to each other. Understood? Yes. Did you take this down? We and they? Okay. Now, it has been found that persons in the in group are generally supposed to be similar and viewed favorably, that is more favorably, and have desirable traits. Members of the out group are viewed differently and are often perceived negatively in comparison to the in group members. Perceptions of in group and out group affect our social lives. Okay, remember we discussed about the school groups when you go for a competition. Yes, our group will be very much close to us, isn't it? And we consider our group as the best. And out group will have certain negative feelings towards the out group also, the other school groups. That is the point mentioned here. So the more desirable traits are given for your own group, unless you have a conflict in your own group itself. Okay. Yes. And for this, there is a paradigm given. There is an experiment, a very famous experiment by Tajfel and his colleagues, that is given in box 7.2, the minimal group paradigm experiment. Do we have time? 5 more minutes, right? Okay. We'll watch a video and come back. Yeah. Generally, what happened there is there was no particular contact with the group members. They were divided into two groups. The number of boys were divided, or the children were divided into two groups, but still they didn't know each other. The group members did not know each other. But still, to make the group win or to show that their group were the best to show that they did this. That is the pairing of score. Did you understand that 7, 1, 6 and all those things? The pairings that were given. Yeah, the same thing is given in page 136, box 7.2. That experiment by Tajfel. All right. Okay. Then I think we have only 2 more portions to complete. Social loafing and group polarization. With that, we are done. Now, what you have to do is, if there is any portion from term 1, we'll focus on term 1 now. If there is any portion that needs to be taught again or that you want to discuss in class, please give me a message before the class. Okay. On the previous day, just give me the message so that we can discuss them. All right. Yeah. All are absent. Milke Saji, Sneha. She's not well. Okay. Did you text her? She had some infection or something, and she's not well. Okay. Then all are absent. Only 2. Ashish had network issue. That's all. Elvina is also absent, no? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.